black dads are absent, they're irresponsible, and they're promiscuous.
These are just some of the long-standing stereotypes surrounding black fathers. But dad of two, Marvin Harrison, is challenging this negative narrative.
Daddy.
Yes, and who's your best friend?
Mummy.
No, you ruined it!
He set up Dope Black Dads, a support group who are also working hard to show these old perceptions are wrong.
That's going to be your view of black people.
It's like if you're out with your kids, it's daddy daycare, like no, actually just being a dad. Yeah, and it's almost a surprise. It's doubled if you're like a black dad, because it's like, oh, you're with your kids.
It all started on Father's Day, with some of us having deep relationship with your fathers and some not having so, and it kind of just grew out of that really. People started asking questions slowly, turned into finance, turned into how to live with their wives, how to be better fathers, better husbands.
I think that the perception that we're financially irresponsible, we're morally irresponsible, and also emotionally irresponsible.
No one's gonna talk about the dad that's doing well and doing well for his family, because that's not news.
Simon works in a youth offenders unit with young men, and despite many having no relations with their dads, they're aware having a father in their lives earlier may have changed their paths.
A lot of the boys that I work with, they dismiss their dad. They don't pay any attention to him. He wasn't in their life. But if you ask them, if your dad was in your life, would it be a difference? They'll take that with both hands.
It was a personal tragedy that made Simon all the more determined to be the best dad he could be.
I've got an 8-year-old son. My mum died when I was 5 days old. So it was imperative for me that I'd done everything with him first. So I had that natural bond with him. And for me, you can't beat that. I think for any dad that's out there that's involved in their child's life, you have to have that consistency.
The reality for many black fathers of generations gone by was that they were feckless fathers, many having 4, 5, 6, even 7 kids with 2, 3, 4 different women. But that reality is fast becoming a myth. The current generation of black fathers fully involved in their children's lives and understanding the importance now more than ever of being a black dad.
There is a perception among African men that they're polygamous.
Marvin and many of the dads acknowledge the historical struggles of earlier generations.
That experience of arriving here believing that you were British because you've been colonised and you've had the Queen on your wall, and then when they came here, it wasn't as welcoming, it wasn't as affluent. You weren't being a nurse or a doctor in Jamaica and then coming here and being a nurse or a doctor. You were coming here and cleaning, and you had to have 3 jobs. And so your kids were ultimately outside of any form of structure, any form of home. The men that were here were basically left disillusioned, and then they turn into gambling, they turn into drinks, they turn into drugs, turn into other things to escape the reality of not being the man that they wanted to be or that they thought they were.
Marvin's own experience with his dad wasn't a positive one, but is adamant that cycle won't continue with his own kids.
My father was horrible as a human being. He was a horrible excuse for a human being, but I didn't want that to be the legacy, and I think I wanted to stop that being the end of the conversation. Because what ends up happening is hurt people, and so I've had a bad experience with my father, and so I then transfer that energy into my kids out of my frustration, out of my lack of knowing of self. I didn't want that to happen.
Marvin and Dope Black Dads are trying to inspire younger men, and rather than complain about lazy narratives and stereotypes, actively working to be the change they want to see.